If you're applying for SSDI or have a claim open with the DDS, I'm going to tell you to fight the urge to say these words. I ain't going to see no SSA doctor. In this video, I'm going to discuss what's called a consultative exam or CE, what it is, how it affects your claim, and how to handle it the right way. If you're ready for this, let's get it started. When you have a pending claim at the DDS, the examiner may send you to go to what's called a consultative examination or a CE. A CE is an appointment with a medical doctor, not one of SSA's doctors, who evaluates your physical or mental conditions in order to provide some additional evidence for your SSDI claim. The doctor performs a basic physical examination for physical conditions or a mental status exam for mental conditions to determine exactly how severe your conditions are. That is not meant to be the same level of exam that your own doctors will provide you. In other words, if you're expecting the CE doctor to get up all in your business and provide you a thorough medical examination, you better think again. The CE is designed to evaluate your condition up close and in person, prepare a typed report, and then send that typed report to the DDS to be included into your claim. There are three main reasons why an examiner will set up a CE for you for your claim. The first one is if the evidence in file is insufficient to make a decision. Maybe your medical records don't have a sufficient MDI or medically determinable impairment that they can hang their hat on to make a decision. It also could mean that there may be something missing in the claim that is required to make the decision, such as a lab report or an x-ray. The second reason why is because they can't establish the severity of your condition currently and establish that based on the records that they've received. The third reason is because maybe there is some kind of discrepancy in the medical records, an inconsistency of some sort, where maybe one doctor says one thing in one report and another one of your doctors says something different, and there's no way to resolve it. So they have to get the CE to kind of be the equalizer. So let's get into 5 quick tips you should know about when you are scheduled to go to a CE. The first tip, don't have high expectations. Some people go into a CE thinking that this is going to be just like going to their doctor, and then when the appointment ends in 15 to 20 minutes, they're thinking, well, this was a sham. How could they make a decision on my claim? They didn't even look at me for even 15 minutes. This is not a complete physical examination, so if this ends in 20 minutes or less, don't flip out. I want to repeat, don't flip out, because this is not your doctor, and it is not one of SSA's doctors. It is true that some of the doctors may be biased as seeing your condition as not severe as some others, but keep this in mind. The DDS examiner actually sends records ahead of you before you get to the examination, so the doctor has an idea of what you're dealing with and they're looking for specific things. So just because the examination ended sooner than you can get a Domino's pizza, that means nothing, because in essence they're looking at specific things related to your case that they want to put eyes on, so that way they could send a report to your examiner to clear up whatever issues that there may be in your case. Tip number 2, go to the appointment and don't flake. One of the worst mistakes that you can make in your SSDI claim is to fail to go to your CE. I've had, I don't know how many to count, but there have been many situations where a claimant failed to go to a CE, and that created more work for me when I was working on cases. I had to make a couple calls, send out a couple letters, give due process for this person to have another chance or an opportunity to go to a rescheduled CE. And then there's no telling when the CE will be available the next time. It may be a week from now. It may be a month from now. There's no way to know. So it actually delays your claim when you fail to show up for your CE appointment. So go. I'm going to add this for good measure. Let's say that you don't get back with the examiner on why you failed the CE, or if the examiner contacts you and your reason is not a good enough of an excuse to justify why you did not go, they may deny your claim based on CE failure. You don't want that. So for the love of God, go to the appointment. Tip number 3, be on time. Don't be late to your CE appointment. See, they're on a schedule. The doctors are. And they have other people that they're trying to see as well. You don't want to hold up the situation because you're late to your appointment. Make it a point to be there early so that you can be settled and ready to see the examination doctor. I'm also going to tack this on. If you're late, the doctor may say, well, we're not going to see you because you're late, and they'll cancel the appointment and you have to get another appointment, and there may be a wait to get to the next appointment. You might luck out and get a cancellation maybe a day or so later, but most times you're going to be set out a week or a couple weeks or a month to wait for another opportunity to see that CE doctor. My advice to you, get someone to help you get to that appointment. You don't have to do the driving. You don't have to get on the bus unless you really have to, but get somebody to help you. And don't depend on Social Security to provide transportation for you. They might offer, they may say it's available, but don't depend on that because you're still at the mercy of someone else getting you to that appointment. And if a taxi's late, then you're late. And when you're late, you may get a cancellation. Tip number 4, tell the truth. You know, just be upfront about your conditions. Just be honest and say what's happening, say what's not happening. I want to remind you that the doctor already has some of your medical records to review before the appointment. So it's not as though you can pass something off on the doctor as not true. They're doctors, they're trained, they're experienced, and they know certain conditions and what those conditions bring about physically or mentally. So when you're upfront about your situation, it actually gives you and your case more credibility. So if you're saying, well, my back is not as bad as it used to be, you actually look a little bit better, not only to the CE doctor, but also to your examiner that, hey, he's actually or she's actually an upfront person, and they're actually giving us the truth here. So you actually want to put yourself in a position to tell the truth more than saying something that is just made up. And tip number 5, don't exaggerate. In other words, don't play up your conditions as worse than they really are. Because I want to add this to you. People are watching. The CE doctor's watching, the staff is watching, and there may be SSA investigators watching. This has everything to do with your credibility. So if you get out the car all fine and walk into the door with no issue, and then when you get inside the door, now you have a limp, that plays into your credibility. You're not as severe as you're making your case to be. One thing I need to make mention of is the concept of guarding. Guarding looks a little bit like this.
Hello, Mr. Jones. I just want to check your arm real quick just to see your pain tolerance.
So don't put on an act in the examination room, in the waiting room, outside the office, or even at your house. And that's all I got for what a consultative examination is and how to approach it the right way. I want to remind you that these are not SSA's doctors. If you're wondering what I mean by that, I have a video that talks about what these doctors do. I have a link in the description, and there's a link right here just for you to check that out. Now, I got more videos. As always, don't leave me hanging because I'm going to see you on the other side.